Hello students, welcome to all of you. I am Professor Bhumi Patel from LG Institute of Engineering and Technologies. In today's PPS lectures, we cover the next unit, that is Unit 2, Fundamentals of C Language. Hello students, welcome to all of you. Now we are start with the same unit number 2, that is Fundamentals of C. In a previous lecture, we are completing the features of C language and structure of C program and some examples of program. That is how we are executing C program we are already discussed. Now in a theory part, we start the same, that is life cycle of C program, or we can say that execution of C program. How we are executing our program, that is our theory title, or we can say that the life cycle for a C program. For that we have to draw only the flow chart. The steps for executing C program is, there are 4 parts. First, we have to create the program. First, we have to create the program in our editor, in our TC software. Second is a compile C program. Compile C program. Compilation doing with which key? Alter F9. That compilation checks there is error or not. Third step is, suppose there is no any error in our coding, in our program, then we have to execute. Before execution, we have to link with our system library, and our library is nothing but our header files. And last step is, after link with that functions in our library, last step is execute our C program. So these 4 are the steps to execute C program. First create program, then compile, then link, and then execute. Now these steps we have to draw in a flowchart with details. So let's start drawing for a life cycle of C program. First check the system is ready or not. The system ready or not. System is nothing but our computer. If it is in a working condition, it is ready mode, then we have to enter our program. Enter program. Suppose the program is already created and it is in my pen drive. So I have to copy that into our computer. That is nothing but enter program. And suppose the program is already there. So the program code that you are making will be entered in this particular computer. Now this program becomes the source program for that particular computer, because our computer is now fixed and program is in that particular computer is known as source program. Now after that, if you want to change something in a previous coding or in a program, then you can edit that source program. Next step is edit source program. After editing, the final program is there. Now we have to compile. So this portion is nothing but the creating C program. After creating, next step is compile source program. Now to compile program, we have a compile compiler. This work is done by compilation process is done by software. Which software? System software, that is compiler. What is the definition of compiler? We are discussed in a first unit. It is a system software that convert the high level language coding, high level language program into the machine level language. Then and then machine can execute that program. So the compiler is used to compile our source program. The compiler checks the error. So here error is there or not. Which kind of error? The syntax error. If the syntax error is there, means true, then you have to solve that using edit option. Suppose you are missing semicolon, you are missing comma, you write down P is capital instead of small. In a coding, we are using all the letters small, P, scanf, S. These all letters we have to write down in a small letters. So if you are making any kind of that mistake, that called syntax error, and if it is there, then you have to edit program, change that mistake and again compile the program. But suppose there is no mistake, syntax error, yes, then edit, no, then what we have to do? The third step is link with system library. So the next step is link with, here our library is there, that is called system library. Now link, what we have to link? Link object code. Now object code means what? If there is no any error, then compiler translates from high level language to machine level, and that is known as object code, object program. So the first is source program, that is converted in a object code. Now the system library is connected, that is our third step, link object code. After that, here we are continue. After linking process, what we have to do? Execute our program, that is control F9. So here execute object code. Now to execute any program, we have to input something. Suppose addition of two numbers, then we have to input two values. So here for execution of program, we have to input data. So here input data is there. After this step, next is what? Execute object code, and that will be executed with the input data. Now whenever you are executing program, again check the errors. And there is two types of error. First is a data error or logic error. Yes, otherwise no. If there is data error, means in program we are writing integer data type, means you have to input only the whole number, not a decimal value, and you are inputting 3.5, that is called data error. Instead of number you are typing A, then again it is a data error. So if there is data error, then you have to give input again when there is a data error. Clear? But suppose there is logic error. For example, our formula is wrong. Suppose you have given find the factorial of a given number, or you have given convert temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. To convert the Fahrenheit to Celsius, the formula is what? 5 by 9 F minus 32. And you are not remembering that formula and you are writing 9 by 5. So our formula is wrong, that is our logic is wrong. That called logic error. So whenever there is a logic error, at which part we have to go? You have to edit program. You have to go in a edit part, and here you have to edit our coding, that is change the formula. When we have to go on this part? When there is a logic error. And suppose there is no any error, then the final correct output will be display on our console, on our black screen. So this is nothing but the flow of how the C program will be executed. That is the execution of C program, or we can say that life cycle of C program. Let us recall. First step is what? Check the system is ready or not. If it is ready, then enter our program. Now it is converted in a source program, and that will be, we can edit also. After editing, we have to compile using compiler. Compiler check there is error or not. If there is error, then go on edit part and make the changes in a program. If it is there is no any error, then link with our system library. After linking part, we have to execute our program using input data. Suppose user given wrong input, that is data is wrong, then again you have to enter data and execute. And suppose there is a logic error, that means your equation is wrong, your process is wrong, then you have to go on an edit part and make the changes, and again compile program, again link with library, and then execute. And suppose no any error in execution, then the correct output will be displayed. Clear everyone? Now move to the next topic, that is data types. Different data types in a C language. This is again very most IMP question. Different data types. There are three different kinds of data types in a C language. First is a primary data type. Second is a derived data type. And third is a user defined data type. Now let us start with the primary data type. The second name of primary data type is, we can say that basic data type or fundamental data types. If you have given question like that in a GTU, explain fundamentals data types, then you have to write about only first category, that is primary, or we can say that basic or a fundamental. Clear? And the question is something like that, explain different data types. Then you have to discuss all the threes: primary, derived and user defined. So let us start with one by one. We are discussing the first, primary data type, or we can say that basic data type or a fundamental data types. Now, this data type is divided in a 4 category. Primary data type is divided in a 4 category. First is integer, second is float, third is character, and 4 is void. These 4 are the primary data types. Now this data type is again divided in a subcategory. Integer is divided in a 2 part. integer is divided in a two part, signed and unsigned. Now what is the meaning of signed and unsigned? Anyone knowing? Signed number, unsigned number. Signed number means positive, negative, both. And unsigned means only the positive values. Clear? Whenever we are writing with sign, that is -5, that indicates negative, positive, both. But suppose no any sign, unsigned, then only positive values are possible. Clear? So two types of category for integer, sign and unsigned. Sign is divided in again three parts: integer, short integer and long integer. Unsigned is again divided in a same three parts: integer, short integer and long integer. Now float. Float is divided in a three categories: float, then double and long double. Character is divided in a two part: signed character and unsigned character. And last is void. Clear? These all are the primary data types. In next lecture we are discussing in a details primary data types. Let us understand only these basic four types. The first is integer. Integer means it stores whole number without any decimal. Float means it stores real values with a decimal point. Character means you can store alphabets also. And void is generally used in a function. So these all are the primary data types which we are learn in a next lecture in a details. Thank you so much for listening this video. If you have any doubts, then feel free to contact me.